Okay.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad that you could be with us today. Alongside Jan is with me from Save Money and More with
Hey, Steve.
Jan.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Jan. So, we're going to be discussing 6 tips on ways to save money, and you've got one that you'd like to share with us. Well, actually, you've got
Yeah.
three, but we're going to be going back and forth.
Thank you, Steve. First of all, it's
Yep,
always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me here again, Steve. I appreciate it.
you're
All
welcome.
right. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Listen, sometimes there is a huge connection between the way the mind thinks and what we do with our wallets. Actually, there really is a psychological connection. And I just want to say this for this first tip. They're not in any particular order of importance, they're all important. So, one that I find to be very true, and it works out very well for myself, I'll give you an example. Finding balance in our financial lives. Now, how do we do that? By sharpening our spending skills and by utilizing wise spending skills. We talk about saving a lot, Steve, but we need to focus also on how do we shop? How do we spend? Keep in mind that you, myself, all of us, we are literally the CEOs, the boss of our own finances. Stop giving our power away to some magical thing. We are the boss. We need to know our numbers. That's really important. We need to know our numbers that come in and know the numbers that goes out, meaning money, dollars, cents. This is a huge step for us to know our numbers. How do we get to know our numbers? By formulating a budget. Very important. There you go, Steve, the first one.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like the way that sounds. That's absolutely right. You do have to, you definitely have to do that. Now, I've got a good tip here, and this is probably something a lot of people probably don't think about, and people think, "Oh, I'm in a rut. There's nothing I can do about it." So I do realize that times are hard. I realize that jobs can be difficult to come across. Cutting back on pay, you never know from one minute to the next. And and there's times that you may have to revert, and you may. This is a touchy thing here. A lot of people don't care for this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because it is a part of you know everyday monies. People will tend to put stuff on a credit card. And for those that do, then they run up a certain amount. Oh gosh, how am I going to pay for this? I don't know how I'm going to cover this minimum payment. It's out of my reach. I can't afford it. So all you got to do, people don't realize you can call your financial institution. They may transfer you to one or two different departments, and you talk to somebody in the financial hardship department, and what they're going to do is they're going to take a little bit of information from you, you know, about your expenses, and they're going to see where you fall. And then they'll give you some options. It'll help lower your rate. It can also lower your minimum payment. It can lower it maybe 6 months. It might lower it for 1 year. It all depends on what they have available. And they submit it. And when you get approved, let's say instead of paying 12.5% on a credit card, it may knock your payment down by half and it'll lower your interest rate, say down to like 4%.
Wow.
So definitely consider a financial hardship. You think financial hardship, oh gosh, that sounds very welfare-ish. Well, no, it's not. If it helps keep somebody's head above water to be able to afford to live, go ahead and do it. You
Wow.
know, I
That's
know of a
great.
couple, I know of a couple, three people that have done it, and they're pretty happy and glad that they did it because what it does is it puts that difference of money back in your hand. And you can do one of two things with it. You can take part of that difference in money, add a little bit more to your minimum payment, and pay down the cost a little faster, or you can save the money and set it aside and don't use it. There's so many different things you can do with that money, but bottom line is if you're in that position, and again, I know a lot of people are very against a credit card, but for those that, that might be in that position, call and do and look into the financial hardship. It is there, it is available.
That's a wonderful tip, Steve. Very,
Yeah,
very excellent.
yes, it
I'm
is.
sure that will help at least, at the very least, excuse me, at least one person listening.
Yep.
So I really like that, Steve. Keeping the
Hmm.
communications open is so important. So, Steve, I have another one. Treat yourself as a weekly or a monthly bill to be paid. You know, Steve, we don't blink an eyelash to pay our electric bill. We know we have to do it. We don't blink an eyelash to pay for housing. Well, we like to have a roof over our head, right? How come we have so much of a hard time paying ourselves first? And one of the biggest mistakes is not recognizing that we are just as important. So people do this a lot of times. They'll pay everything out, and then maybe just a little droplet out of the bucket is left you could put towards savings. This is a mistake. I think people have it backwards. The first thing to do is to cut out. This is just my thought. I'm not a financial expert. Steve is not either. We're just giving out thoughts, our little opinions, thoughts. But here's my suggestion: take a percentage out, whatever your numbers are. You might work with a percentage number, or you may work with just like a dollar number that is realistically affordable, and set up an automatic savings transfer every month that works with your particular pay cycle or whatever source of income and whatever. And before you know it, because out of sight, out of mind, before you know it, those payments come out month in, month out. You're paying yourself first. Very, very important. You're not going to feel the pinch so much if it's done that way. But you have to be aware and remember at first, like, don't forget about those automatic withdrawals towards savings. And anyone could do it. And there's many reasons we could get into that at another time or maybe later today. For many people, this takes practice, but in time and with automated savings set up, it will add up literally in no time. If you don't like automatic savings, then just set a date with yourself on this date. It's the due date, like the light bill is due on a certain date. I just paid my light bill this morning. It's funny we're talking about that because it's a priority. I don't know about you, Steve, but I like electricity. I don't know. To me, I like to be able to put the lights on and run an AC on a hot day. You see where I'm going with this. But to
Yeah.
pay ourselves first is equally important. We have to concern ourselves with future us. I don't care if it's a small amount, but if it's done consistently. Steve and I used to talk about the dollar a day thing, the training wheels thing. And to this day, there's still some people, including myself. I don't necessarily take a dollar and go put a dollar someplace today, put it. Maybe a long time ago I did that. But what I like to do at the very least is take 31 plus, because 31 representing every day of the month, plus whatever else I could put in for the month. It could be 50 one month, it could be 100. Even if it's not a fixed amount, put something away. You will feel such a sense of empowerment and accomplishment. And yes, it will build up. It really, really does, Steve.
Yeah, and the only my only other tip that I have in addition to that is, a lot of people say that, and I'm also piggybacking off of what you just said just now, is a lot of people think, well, I just don't have the means to save any money. I'm not able to save money. I can't. Well, I can't is the wrong mindset that you want to have. Anybody, I mean, and I've spoken about this subject before many times. You just brought it up briefly just now, and you've also spoken about it. Anybody can save money, even if it's just as minimal as $1 per day, $7 a week. All right, if you said 31 days, so 31 times 7, if I'm doing my math right, that's $217 in 1 month. So,
Amazing.
but remember, not all months have 31 days. Some months have 30. So, but still, I get your point. Um, but anybody out there who says that they cannot save money, that's untrue. Anybody can set a few dollars aside. When you go to the grocery store, when you go shopping, when you get money back in cash, that's money right there that you could take and just set aside and don't use if it's of no importance to you, you know?
100%.
So
Very, very
that
true, Steve.
that would be my second tip.
And I love that second tip. And can I just tell you something? This literally happened to me. This is an extra thing that I didn't expect to say, so it's just going to take a minute, Steve.
Hmm.
Every year I do my, where I check my bill because I'm on the level payment plan thing. And normally I spend $80 a month flat rate on my electricity. Every May I go to check to see what the number is for May payment towards June, and it turned out $54. I saved $26 in payment this month. Did you think I'm going to add it to the other savings that I intend to pay myself first with? Yes, I
Yeah,
am.
of
Right.
course.
This is the point that right. It's the point I'm making, like you're making. No amount is too small, and the numbers can vary. So let's say the previous month a person put in $100. We're talking about lower income for a second, okay? Wonderful, amazing, and kudos. Okay. Well, let's say the next go around, you can only put in 50. That is still 50 ahead. No
It
matter
is.
what the number, just right. Just get in the habit. Just do it. The way you pay your other bills, pay yourself as well. Maybe saying pay yourself first throws people off. I'll say it this way, pay yourself as well. I think that that's a good thing. All right, Steve, I have another tip besides that extra one that I threw in there. And I love what you said. Makes a lot of sense. All right. So here's my final one for today. Be good with your money. By how? How can you do that? Be good with your money by creating a budget and setting goals. And this one's important, tackling debt. DEBT. Can you imagine? Just imagine this. Just imagine the possibilities of other options you could do with your money when the debts are cleared.
Hmm.
That debt is like, like when there's a street accident and you see those police barricades up all over the place, you can't go here, there, or anywhere. Those debts are kind of sort of like an imaginary, in my mind anyway, like a barricade. It stops you from going further. It decreases your options. It gives you limits you don't need. Get rid of the debt as much as you can and as fast as you can. That's
Hmm.
my really best piece of thinking in this area. Like I said, we're not financial experts or anything. Use your own best judgment. This video is for entertainment purposes only. But these are my thoughts, and I know that you're sharing your wonderful thoughts too.
Yes. Now I've got one other tip as well. It's not it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it was definitely unexpected. And it does pertain to me. I my my insurance policy renews every June, and usually around the latter part of April or so, I usually have updated information as to what is to come when my policy renews. So unexpectedly, when I went over, when this last payment went through, which was a little bit less than what it's normally been, I noticed that from June of this year to June of next year, my insurance policy dropped about $15 a month. No, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but that's $15 extra that I'm just going to take and set aside, set aside, set aside with whatever other monies that I'm able to, put together that I'm going to add to it. and I'm just going to set it aside. And if I remember right and did the math, I believe that is $180 at the end of a year. No, that's not a lot of money, but that's $180 that I'm actually able, to have in my possession that I won't have to pay the insurance with, plus whatever else I'm able to build up along with it.
I
So,
think that's great. I really do.
another thing people can do, I'm going to revert back to negotiation. If you want another way to save money, look at your utilities. Look at for those that cable bill. I'm not really sure who would still want cable in today's times, but your cable, your phone, internet, any type of bill. If something is a little bit out of your reach, it's a little bit out of your price range. Make a phone call, talk to them, and say, "Hey, can do you have a better package or something that you could offer me that's a little bit less money, that's more affordable, that's just as good, that'll help me financially." Talk to the people, not every time, but there's always that 50-50 probability that they'll be able to say, yes, we offer or have this available to you that we could offer you, and it'll knock off an extra 10 or $15 or $20 a month off your bill. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in the core, in the long run, $240 is $240. But still, you never know if you're able to get a negotiation unless you make that phone call. Like I said, it's a 50-50 probability, though.
That's great, Steve. You know what I'm thinking? You just illustrated for us two separate situations. One was worth about a buck 50, meaning 150. The other one was worth about 250 or 240, did you say? Right off the
240.
bat, right. If you put that together, the last time I checked, wouldn't that be about 390 bucks, almost 400 bucks? This is an example. So if you're saving in one area, great. You find another area you could save at, great. Suppose you find five or six areas. You may save up to $8,000. Okay? In those little numbers. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's only $15 here, there, or anywhere. No, 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 no. Think bigger. Think bigger. Think of the broader picture. $15 times 12, and then what you just mentioned about the other number. So, yeah, we have to like broaden out and expand our minds, mathematically speaking,
Yeah,
because no, it adds up over time. It does.
it
So,
does. And I mean, just think at the end of a year, yeah, 390, that's exactly right. That's what it would be with the two figures added together. Just think a year from now, doing that, you're going to have right around $400 set aside.
that's right.
And then if you have the ability, I don't know, I'm sure you could call ever so often to see if you can negotiate. And if you can call back again and get another deal, fingers crossed, and then at the end of 2 years, you could be, who knows, that 400 could become 800. You just don't know.
That's right. And it pays to be ahead of the game. I'll give you an example, Steve, not to hold you up or anything.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I got that $54 bill, which shows that I was, great with my electricity over the last 12 months. And I got that 20 something dollar, whatever it is, 20 something dollar credit. No, it was 56. I got 24 back. Anyway, I got credited for it. And they took it off my bill. But now is the important call. I'm going to continue for the next 12 months with that level payment plan. Every year I call, every year I come back on a video and explain how it went for me. So fingers crossed, either today or tomorrow, depends on my schedule, either today or tomorrow, I'm going to make that annual phone call and check what the new number is going to be. Some people don't care. They don't care. They'll wait, a month and a half and randomly wait for a number. I don't like that for myself. I want
Hmm.
to know in advance. Okay, I might be pleasantly surprised. I might be a little surprised if it went the other way. But the fact that I had that credit, coming to me would suggest that if I did my math correctly, that bill should go lower than 80. If if all things go well. But isn't it nice to be on top of your bills instead of having the bills chase us? Like being empowered? That's the way I look at it.
I think so.
Yeah. So you gave some great points there, Steve.
Yeah. And again, you know, don't be, if you're hesitant or you're a little bit apprehensive or you're shy. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Well, you don't know unless you try. Pick up the phone, dial. You got to go through the prompts. Unless you physically talk to somebody, you will never know. Like I said, it's a 50-50. It's not always going to happen, but still, you don't know unless you try.
That's right. And if it doesn't work out in your favor, you're that much ahead of the game because at least you know that you tried. To me, Steve, trying is succeeding.
I think uh, that's what I've always heard. Yes. Yeah, trying is succeeding. That's right. Um, there is one thing I want to mention. This was a great topic, and hopefully, it's helpful to you guys. And again, that information, definitely look into it if it's something that's, right up your alley. But um, I want to bring this up because I do like to be shown recognition for my videos and what I put out there to all of you. Um, I If it's not asking a whole lot of you, and I don't want to sound like I'm begging for it because I'm not. I'm just trying to put it out there to be considerate because, I like to be shown some recognition for the material and the work and stuff that uh, I put out. I do like to receive Amazon gift cards. So if you can ever find it, to contribute or donate an Amazon gift card, that would be great. Even if it's as minimal as $5, it doesn't matter. It's the thought that counts because I don't like to just come on here and just put video after video after video after video up and then not be shown anything for it. And then I'm just doing it as a hobby because this is now YouTube to me now is more than just a hobby. You know, I am I'm not fully monetized, but I'm, you know, pretty much of the way, monetized. But if you can find it, within yourself somewhere to, you know, send an Amazon gift card, even if it's as minimal as $5, that would be greatly appreciated. Um, well, anyway, Jan, I'm glad that you, as always, able to stop by, make a little time for yourself.
Oh, always a pleasure to be here. And I think the topics that we bring up are really, really vital. And it's so much nicer because like we're in like an informal, conversation. It's not like, like certain types of structured type of like podcasting in my opinion. I like that we just like having a conversation and the listeners are kind of sort of like our friends that we're talking with. And hopefully our conversations over time will have helped at least beyond even one person every
Yeah.
time this video airs. So
Hmm.
that's the whole point of having these shows, really. We really
That,
do want to help. We really do.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and believe you me, these what I mentioned along the way in this video that we just did, I've actually not all of them, but I've taken advantage. Well, you know about the one about the insurance, but that one other tip, you know,
Yeah.
I have also taken advantage of as well, and that's the one where you set, you know, money aside, $1 a day and all that. I've done that before, and it's very effective. Anybody can save money. Well,
Yes.
anyway, yeah. Well, anyway, I hope everybody has a great, whatever time of day it is. I or we will see you back here next time. Bye for now.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.